J. Cole is about to take Camron to the sunken place.
Me and J. Cole are cool, or was cool. This is exactly what happened. Being a man is keeping your word. And I know everybody's busy and everybody has things to do. But if I give you my word 4 or 5 times, I got to do it. So on his first project he did, I did an intro for him. I did the record for him for his intro. I told him I may need a verse whenever I get a project done. He said, cool. He had another project. I did a record in 20 minutes. I knocked that shit out and went off about my business. I need a verse. I'm exaggerating, but he's like the shock rain right now, and you know, the moon got aligned with the stars, and you know, when I write, I put my all into it. Okay, let's put your all into it then. You know what I'm saying?
Word. Give me that
You
verse.
called me twice to do something, and I did it. One day you have 48 hours to do it. Then I knocked the other thing out as soon as I came to New York, because you ain't want to send me a record, you want to be in the studio with me. I knocked it out. Cool, you don't give me the record. Then I say, you know what, forget the record. Let's do an interview. Bet I got you. I got a project coming out in June. Let's do it around there. Cool, June is coming. Oh, we pushed the album back. I don't want to just do an interview. All right, cool. Now we're going to do it in October. All right, I'll call you back in October. Yo, what's up? Oh, man, killer. You say I tell you October. You call October, huh, nigga? Yeah, nigga. Yeah. So now this is when all the beef is going on with Kendrick Lamar. I can't do it now because I don't feel like talking about that right now. I say, look, I'll do the interview. I won't even bring that up. He says, nah, I can't do no interview and not talk about it. All right, well, when can I get the interview? Yo, February, definite. February, I'm dead ass on February. February come. Yo, what's up? Oh, shit. Yo, I'm still working, man. Girl can't be a stylist neither. When she's sick fixing somebody's collar, I don't know what may happen next time she... What's up, man?
I'm just saying, like, a lawsuit, bro? Lawyers?
You know, it wasn't like that.
I'm just saying, bro, you got niggas like...
Let's get the elephant out the room. So, when you first seen the lawsuit, what was your emotion when you see it?
Yo, I was like hurt almost, disappointed, like, cause I got so much respect for you, you know what I mean?
Likewise.
And I look at you like I know you are as a stand-up person. When the lawsuit come out, I'm like, come on, Cam.
Right.
And only because it was like, in my mind, I'm like, bro,
Right.
you really could have hit me. Like, although it was taking a long time, I don't give a fuck if you would have called me and been like, yo, nigga, what the like you could have screamed on me, we could have argued, boom,
Right.
boom. I would have preferred that than the other way, because I was just like, damn, Cam, like it never got to that point where you couldn't like holler at me or whatever.
Right.
So my first thing was disappointment. And my first thought was like, fuck it then. Like
Right.
this nigga ain't even know I was still gonna come to his show.
Right.
My first gut reaction, like, damn, and it's like misinformation, the lawsuit itself. And you know, the internet running with it. People hit me like, yo, what's going on with the Cam shit? Boom, boom. So like my ego reaction is like, all right. Quietly, I'm like, man, fuck this nigga, boom, boom.
Right.
But quickly, I'm like, but nah, like, I get it though. Let me put myself in his shoes. Like, yo, the nigga feel like he was getting a runaround. You know what I mean? He don't know you for real. And Cam mind is probably like, I seen this movie before.
Right.
You don't fuck with me. You don't want to do the favor. You trying to drag me out until I don't want to do it no more.
Right.
All right, nigga, bet. And I got one in the chamber. I never signed that paperwork for that fucking, for that verse. So here you go, boom, just to like hit me in the rib. You know what I mean? And it's like, I still said in my mind, I was like, yo, I'ma still go see Cam.
And which, of course, it was never going to go nowhere, but for me, it was more like, I need to get this nigga attention.
Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
What's up, world? Your boy Challz Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Keep sending those cash apps to CLBMG. Join that membership. And all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen. There's a movie called Get Out. And in Get Out, there's a thing called the sunken place. And when you're in the sunken place, you're unable to talk or move or scream, things like that. And your body is in control, and you are not in control anymore. And you don't get to control the thoughts of your body or your movements of your body. And I feel like what we're seeing is, I don't know what it is. Maybe J. Cole is just this tall, this intimidating in person, or maybe he's just this charismatic, but for somehow, some way, just like we saw Nadeska and whoever else gets in front of J. Cole, they get these puppy dog eyes and they get real quiet and they let J. Cole go on and on and on, right? And for some reason, everything he says is right and exact and is law and is true and is real. Now, why I say Camron is going to be in the sunken place, first of all, I saw the little snippet, the little clip, before the second clip and the third clip about Drake, and I'm gonna get to that Drake one on a different video. But right now we're gonna talk about the Camron and J. Cole interview that came out of nowhere. Where basically we were complaining about J. Cole could have went and did that interview, but right now we're gonna talk about him actually popping up, so-called, in the studio. Camron's in mid sentence, right? Then his voice hits that other octave and go, well, "What's up, man?" And then J. Cole goes, "Lawyers, my nigga, for real, lawyers." And then Camron goes, it's not like that, wasn't like that. And then it fades to black as if the cameraman put the camera down. So let's just be honest. First thing first, it looks scripted, but at the same time it doesn't, because at the end of the day, I don't know if Camron's this good of an actor, so it very well could be scripted. I'm dumb, I'm gullible, and I felt like it was kind of not scripted, but at the end of the day, who knows with these guys? When you watch it the third and fourth time, it 100% looks scripted, right? Just like with me, I had to watch that Drake throwing that chancleta at that drone. I had to watch it 3 times and realize it was fake, right? So I believe too much too easily, gang. So at the end of the day, when I saw this thing, I had to look at it a couple times. I'm like, it looked kind of scripted, but why would you do such a thing? And I get it, it's for engagement, this, that, and the third. But to pull off something that's supposed to be a real moment between two real dudes, to rehearse a fake ass intro, I want to believe that that's not so. I want to believe in fairy tales and gumdrops that these two guys wouldn't rehearse what was supposed to be an organic scene where he walks into a studio unannounced and unprovoked, where he was truly caught off guard and had nothing but good things to say to him when he was pressed, because he basically said, "Lawyers, my nigga," and Camron goes, "It wasn't like that." Well, hell yeah, it was like that. You put a $500,000 lawsuit on the boy, so yes, it was like that. So what I'm saying is, when I feel like Camron is going to be in a sunken place, just like Nadeska Alexis, at the end of the day, it looked like, even if this was scripted, the clips that's coming out after the scripted opening clip, they look like Camron is caught off guard and on the defense. He's actually saying yes to him saying, I was like, fuck this nigga. He like, yep. Camron has not much to say. He's in the sunken place looking into J. Cole's eyes, letting him talk. Now, I get it. This is only a clip. And I wasn't going to react to this because it's going to be overreacting. But once I watched the clip, for the second and third time, I said, Charles, you got to speak on this, because this looks outrageous, because it looked like Camron going to be mesmerized and be just like Nadeska with the puppy dog eyes talking about, I'm glad you're in a better place, Cole. I think that's what we're about to get. I'm just going to be honest. I know we have faith that it was going to be up if Camron sit down with him. Camron looked like he going to let him get away with a lot of shit. Just going to be honest. I feel like if a guy coming in there, let's start. Camron wouldn't even speak on this lawsuit when Flea asked him about it, right? Camron was hush, hush, hum, hum, hum. And then when he finally, I think it took like a couple months before he even spoke on it, right? He spoke on it and he didn't seem too happy about it. He seemed very annoyed about the shit. Let's just be honest. And I get it. When people get face to face and they actually talk, right? Like they say Jay-Z and Nas, when they came in the room for the first time, they burst out laughing. Right? Even after all that tension, when they first actually decided to really squash it and they came in the room, they burst out laughing. So all the tension was out in the air, and I get it. That's going to happen. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about this guy, you wanted him on the podcast, you wanted to keep it real, right? And this is supposed to be a guy that literally betrayed you enough to go sit down with lawyers and pay the lawyer fees. By the way, is this still a lawsuit now? Now that he sat down, can you still sue him? Do you still want your rights on the song? There's a lot of questions that still ain't answered, and I get it. This is just a clip. But I'm looking at this clip. This thing is so short, and I want to play it because I see some flaws just in this 1 minute and 35-second clip. Because from when Camron described the story, J. Cole comes on here and said, bro, you could have hit me up. Well, Camron's whole issue was he wasn't responding. He wasn't responding. He left him on red. He couldn't get in touch. He gave him the runaround. Camron sat there and let J. Cole literally say, bro, you could have just hit me up. I would have talked. We could have had a screaming match on the phone, all this shit. He talking all this crazy shit. He wasn't contacting you. Right there, Camron should have said, how? Camron's in the sunken place already because he's agreeing. Yup, I could have called. Like, he already checked out. He already in all that this guy's in it, and he don't want him to run out the room. So I don't know how good this interview gonna be if Cam is in the sunken place looking at him with the puppy dog eyes. I'm just gonna be honest. Now, I want to play this because it's so much to unpack. You gotta understand, J. Cole literally in this clip accuses Camron of lying. He says it's a lot of misinformation in the lawsuit. Camron made the lawsuit. He had his lawyers draw it up. He used his exact version of the story. And J. Cole says it's misinformation in there. That means it's lies in there. That's what annoyed him. You gotta listen. If you pay attention to J. Cole, he literally was saying, like, I was like, fuck this nigga. And Camron's like, Like, you gotta pay attention. Cameron's so giddy gumdrop for this interview that he's agreeing with it, that, yeah, fuck you, nigga. He's agreeing with it. So let me play this. Let me see if I'm gonna play this out loud. And we gonna have this conversation because to me, Cam in the sunken place already, and I don't know how much we're gonna get. Then he gonna do a better job than the Deska, right? He gonna say quite a few more questions that we're gonna need answers for. But at the end of the day, I don't know how effective his follow-up's gonna be if he's staring longingly into his eyes. I'm so glad you're here, homie. We're friends again. But guess what? The lawsuit's still in play, and we got to find out if that's still in play because at the end of the day, the lawsuit was for when he didn't get the verse and he didn't get the podcast interview. He sued for writer's credits, and he sued for $500,000. This thing ain't even that no more, right? Now, they can say effectively you got your podcast interview, but at the end of the day, he's not suing for that no more. He's not suing for that no more. Once he didn't get it, he started suing for he wanted to be in the writer's credits, and he wanted to get a portion of the proceeds. So the podcast visit don't negate that. You got to understand that the lawsuit changed. Once he didn't show up for the podcast and give him the verse, he started suing for ownership of that record. He wants royalties and this, that, and the third. So did him popping up? Is he going to rip up the papers? We don't know. Now let me play this, and I want to have a conversation because it looked like Cam low key, he's not going to be very effective. Let me hear this.
Let's get the elephant out the room. So, when you first seen the lawsuit, what was your emotion when you see it?
I was like hurt, almost disappointed, like, because I got so much respect for you, you know what I mean? And I look at
Wait, you got so much respect for him, you start ignoring his calls. You flaked on him 5 times. He said 4 times he tried to get you to do these things in 4 different months and 4 different occasions. You flaked on all of them. Then he tried to get you on the podcast and you flaked on that, but you got so much respect for him. You stopped taking his calls. You stopped listening to what he had to say. He was asking you in regards of, are you going to do this, that, and the third? You kept telling him, I'm going to do it here, I'm going to do it there, I'm going to do it in October, and you flaked on all of them, but you got so much respect. Let me continue.
That you like, I know you are as a stand-up person. When a law,
why would you say I know you're a stand-up person and then treat him like shit? You need to explain to him why you didn't do it. That's the first question. You went to Dead Grippy and you went on Homeboy's podcast. I guess y'all was talking about sports or whatever, but Camron couldn't get you on his when he returned the favor twice according to him. He did 2 separate verses. One time you gave him 48 hours to return the verse and he did it. But now you're here, right, hitting them with the get out, right? You're hitting them with the sunken place. Now you're such a stand-up. This is how you manipulate people, right? It's a book out there how to influence friends and influence people, right? This, not the third. So end of the day, he just blew smoke up his ass. I'm just gonna be honest. He said, I got so much respect for you and you're a stand-up individual, but I didn't do what I told you I was gonna do. So what that make you? If he's a stand-up individual and he had to do a lawsuit to get you on the podcast, what does that make you? Let me continue.
Lawsuit come out. I'm like, come on, Cam.
Right.
And only because it was like, in my mind, I'm like, bro,
right,
you really could have hit me. Like, although.
Hold up, let me just say this. And I did say this back a few months ago. I was one of the few people to say that Cam was wrong to sue him. And I stand on that to this day because at the end of the day, it's hip hop. We don't sue for verses, gang. I say that to this day. But at the end of the day, Camron felt that he needed to sue on this, and a lot of people feel like it was just business, right? So Cole is in there now telling him, you could have just hit me, bro. How many times he got to hit you? Sound like this thing went over for a long time. You got to think, he didn't sue him until 2-3 months ago. That's in the end of 2025. That first person, that song, right, Ready 24 that they did for Might Delete Later. He did that song that came out in the beginning of 2024. So how long was it supposed to take for him to get the reciprocity on those verses or the podcast visit or both? Like, how much was he supposed to wait? How much calling was he supposed to do? You could have just hit me, right? Cole is being disingenuous and Camron is like, I could have just hit you. Let me continue.
Oh, it was taking a long time. I don't give a fuck if you would have called me and been like, yo, nigga, what the like you could have scraped on me. We could have argued, boom, boom. I would have preferred that than the other way because I was just like,
hold on. He just said, you could have screamed on me, you could have called me, and Cam goes, Cam, you just did a video talking about the dude wasn't responding to you no more. This is why you did the lawsuit. How was you going to scream on him? How was you going to have a yelling, screaming match and calling him out? Yo, my nigga, done. How was that going to happen? And why should you have to? Let's just be honest. Why should you have to? Cole goes on to say he don't know me like that later in this clip. He don't know me like that. So why would he be screaming on you for a verse if you admittedly don't know each other like that? You only scream on a nigga when it really means something. You only scream when it's going to be some real, like you really, really love this nigga and you guys got a real relationship. You guys have a business relationship. He shouldn't have to scream on you. You are associates. You are in the music business together as associates. He shouldn't have to scream on you. I understand what you're trying to say, but J. Cole walks around this industry like everybody is friends. Oh, I chilled at your studio. Now we're friends. Everybody's friends. It's a fifth grader mentality, a sixth grader attitude that everything is friendship and we're cool, da-da-da-da-da. Right? And I did say he didn't need to sue him because it's on some hip hop, but at the end of the day, it is business, Cole. And you're talking like he should have called you and yelled at you. Why would he do that? If he's yelling at you, that means he's mad. And if the yelling go a certain kind of way, he's gonna get madder. Imagine he yells and you yell back and it get real ugly. Now it's a problem. You don't do that. In this business or any kind of business, you don't scream and yell at the dude unless you're ready to follow up what happens after that. So, no, he couldn't have called you and screamed on you. That's what your real friends from Fayetteville or wherever that know you for real, that's what they for. This is a business relationship. He did some business moves for you, which you should have did in turn, like you said. So, no, ain't no screaming and calling you and acting crazy.
Damn, Cam, it never got to that point where you couldn't holler at me or whatever.
Right.
So
now,
my first thing was disappointment. And my first thought was like, fuck it then.
Hold on, we're gonna get to the fuck it then. But he just said you could have hollered at me. Cam goes, right. Cam, didn't you just tell us you couldn't holler at him? Ain't that why you made the lawsuit? Like, he's just agreeing happily. I'm telling you, it's some sunken play shit, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. And then he just told Cam, it's like, fuck it then. Let me continue.
This nigga ain't even know I was still gonna come to
Let me go back a little bit.
Right.
So my first thing was disappointment. And my first thought was like, fuck it then. This nigga ain't even know I was still gonna come to his show.
When? He ain't know I was still gonna come to the show. When? When was you planning on coming? In 2027? You didn't even know when you was gonna drop the fall off. You told us that. The fall off was supposed to come 8 weeks after the Might Delete Later. He said that on the interview in the Deska. The fall off was supposed to drop 8 weeks after Might Delete Later, where it didn't go like he wanted to, and he retreated into himself. He said he was on a beach and this, that, and the third. So he didn't know when nothing was going to happen. So he didn't know when he's coming to the show. I guess he's going to come to the show after the shit canceled. Like, when was you coming to the show? He needed you then. He said that. He told them you were coming. He put a lot of big money deals in play based on your name. He said that. He said he went to advertisers and had this, that, and the third, that I got J. Cole coming. He put the money, I think it was February, either February or October. He had you coming 2 different times. So whichever one of them times, he told his advertisers and his producers and this, that, and the third that I got J. Cole coming. He put his name on the line and you didn't show up. So I don't know when you was supposed to still be coming. Let me continue.
Right. My first gut reaction, damn, and it's like misinformation, the lawsuit itself, and the internet running with it.
Hold on. So you got it. Camron is in the back happily. It's deep down in the sunken place with the cup of coffee. Ding, ding, ding. Like, tap the spoon for this nigga to get out of there. Because he just said the lawsuit got misinformation. Camron goes, What you say, Cam? The lawsuit that you concocted with your lawyers got misinformation? Sunken place shit. Cam ain't even thinking straight. He just looking in this guy's eyes. He's just so excited he's there. Now, I'm hoping that the full interview it does better than this, but Cam, you really talking yourself out of the lawsuit because he said it's misinformation. You agreed. If this shit go to court, they're playing that.
People hit me like, yo, what's going on with the Cam shit? Boom, boom. So, my ego reaction is like, All right. Quietly, I'm like, man, fuck this nigga. Boom, boom.
So he just said, my ego was like, all right, quietly, I'm like, fuck this nigga. So J. Cole wasn't the humble monk that he portrays to be. When he saw the lawsuit, he was like, fuck this nigga. Just breezed over that. What Camron say? Mm-hmm. He just breezed over that. That he was like, fuck this nigga. Cam just, mm-hmm. I don't know what's happening, gang. I don't know. This ain't the Camron I know from Harlem. This is not the same Cam. I don't know what's going on. And I get it that these guys are older, right? And they got a lot more money on the line, and money makes you calmer and humble. But at the end of the day, at least you can say, hold up, G. My G. What's fuck me for? Nigga, you ain't do my motherfucking verse. Fuck you mean fuck me? You gotta think of the audacity of this nigga. He didn't do the verse. He blew him off for months. Damn, I think it was over a year. I think he said 2 years. He blew him off. And then when I finally do a lawsuit, it's fuck me. You gotta understand what's going on. And Camron like this. Mm-hmm. Gang, I can't make this shit up. Let me continue.
Right. But quickly, I'm like, but nah. Like, I get it though. Let me put myself in his shoes. Like, yo, the nigga feel like he was getting a runaround. You know what I mean? He don't know you for real. And Camron is probably like, I seen this movie before. Right. You don't fuck with me. You don't want to do the favor. You trying to drag me out until I don't want to do it no more. Right. All right, nigga, bet. And I got one in the chamber. Right. I never signed that paperwork for that fucking...
See, J. Cole knows exactly what's going on. All of that, he just processed. He knew that before the lawsuit happened. He knew all of that before the lawsuit happened. Not to mention, he's manipulating Camron by saying, "Oh, I'm gonna see it from your side." He's sitting there like, "Oh, you thinking that I'm trying to stall you out, this, that, and the third." Camron just like this, mm-hmm. Because he's playing both sides. He's hitting from both angles. He's having a debate with himself. Camron ain't even getting the word in edgewise. Camron probably not even, when we watch the interview, Camron probably not even gonna tell his side of the story, because J. Cole said his side and Camron's side both. So Camron's sitting there, mm-hmm. Man, somebody tap the coffee cup. Somebody tap the coffee cup to get this nigga out of here, because he in a sunken place. I don't know how good this interview going to be. I'm just going to be honest.
That verse, so here you go, boom, just to like hit me in the rib. You know what I mean? And it's like, I still said in my mind, I was like, yo, I'm going to still go see Cam.
And which, of course, it was never going to go nowhere. But for me, it was more like, I need to get this nigga attention.
Camron literally just said it was never going to go nowhere. I needed to get this nigga's attention. You did all that, and it wasn't going to go nowhere. You did, so imagine, you were going to lose that basically if it wasn't going to go nowhere, and you wasn't going to get that money back from the lawyers. And I get it, money means nothing to these niggas, I guess. But you did all that, now you put yourself in question, because some people don't agree with rappers suing for any reason, right? So at the end of the day, I understand you. I said he has every right. When I even made the debate back then, I said he has every right to sue. I wouldn't have sued over a verse I didn't get, but Camron has every right to sue legally. I always made that distinction. Legally, he has every right to sue. In some hip-hop shit, a lot of people's in my comments, I had to do a follow-up video and stand on it, but I did a follow-up video saying he has I'm not saying he don't have no right to sue. It ain't very hip-hop to sue for verses. Niggas don't get verses every day. It's motherfuckers that whole albums came out, the second album, the third album came out, and they didn't get the verse, and they didn't sue him, right? So at the end of the day, I always stand on that. But at the same time, he had every right to sue. So I don't know where this is going to go, because it sounds like it could be happy-go-lucky in there, but now Camron got to call and draw. He got to call and pay those lawyers still. Doesn't matter if J. Cole came up there and happily this, that, and the third. And this is why we getting those clips. He gave those clips to Lauren LaRosa, because they need this thing to pop. They already had a really good buzz with the first clip of him walking up in there. That was enough. But they put out 2 more clips that's juicy. They put out this and the Drake shit. They got the internet a buzz. All we talking about right now is on Twitter is this shit. So they did this right, and they said it's going to come out on Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern time. So everybody's going to be checking for this. This interview is probably the biggest thing in hip-hop right now, which is what they need. But we still don't know, is Camron going to eat them lawyer fees and rip up that lawsuit? Because lawyers still got to get paid whether you rip it up or not. So hopefully the show does what it does and he gets his money. But I mean, he gets enough money to warrant that. But at the end of the day, he's still asking for writer's credit. So we'll see where it goes, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't have nothing else to say about this. It just feel like I don't know how well Camron's going to do on this, because it sounds like he's just yes, a bossing in this shit, and it's just, we'll see. We'll see, and we'll get there, all right? Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG. I got the Patreon up. Head on over to the Patreon, sign up. I got all different tiers of memberships. Lock in. I'm doing original content over there. All right, it's Challz Brown on Patreon. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on the What Show, me, TJ, and Fliz. Lock in. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Shit, don't chew the gummies too fast. That's all I can tell you. End of the day, man. We got a new video called Peanut Butter Tims. Lock in. That's on my page. Type in Peanut Butter Tims, Challz Brown. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Share the video. All right, man, I'm out of here. I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the verbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.